Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome back to That Nerd Show, and as you can tell by the theme music, yes, winter is coming. It is the Game of Thrones show, and we will be doing a Season 3 preview as it starts this Sunday. I'm one of your hosts, Marcus Blake, and with me as always is Brendan.
Hey, what's up, everybody?
And, of course, TacheT.
Hello.
All right. I hope everybody is excited out there about Game of Thrones. I know I'm very excited. Are you guys excited?
I'm very excited, especially for a few different things that I know are coming. So.
Yeah. Well, we were actually commenting this before the show that in every saga or trilogy, the middle is always the worst, and that's where we are right now. So, if
with one notable exception. Star Wars.
Oh, okay. But for Game of Thrones, if you're getting attached to certain characters, don't, because it's a good chance they're probably not going to be around. People are going to die. That's just the way it is. So
yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Anyway, we want to get to a little bit of news that's out there, and we're going to start with gaming news. So, Brendan, tell us what's going on in the gaming world.
All right, well, we've had some, Bungie, the company that did the first 3 Halo games, they're doing a new project called Destiny that's going to be for next-gen systems. It is not going to be an Xbox exclusive because apparently they're sick of dealing with Microsoft like everybody else, and now that the PlayStation is gone to a non-proprietary system, we're not using their cell processor anymore, they're using Intel chips. So it's going to be much easier to develop for the PS4 than it was the PS3. Bungie's bringing Destiny to the PS4, which is very cool. But some of the they've got some extended look out right now at some of the action from that game. It's kind of a first look at that. So that's pretty cool. Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain, and sounds just as bad as The Phantom Menace. Like Hideo Kojima. How do I describe this? Well, I think Yahtzee from Zero Punctuation described this best. Someone once said that a politician is a person who can say a lot and say nothing at all. If that's the case, then Hideo Kojima could be emperor of the universe by noon. See, he realizes and he understands that gaming is a very new and exciting way to tell a story and get a message across. He just has extremely little patience for the actual game aspect of it. Metal Gear Solid 4, from the time you hit start to the time you actually get to shoot your first enemy, is 26 frigging minutes. Okay? That's longer than the damn sitcom. And that's just Act 1. That's just the opening fucking trailer. So, and then I'm watching the trailer for Metal Gear Solid 5, and it looks it looks gorgeous. The Fox engine is amazing. But it looks just as crazy and convoluted as anything that comes out of Hideo Kojima's mouth. And, yeah, I don't know. I think I'm going to have to wait to hear from about 4 other gamers that I trust before I drop $60 on another Hideo Kojima game. Because, it's like watching Dr. Zhivago, and occasionally you get to kill one of the communists.
All right.
So it's just like this movie that goes on and on forever, and they're like, oh, by the way, you want to kill this guy? Go ahead, we'll let you play for 5 seconds. There's my little Hideo Kojima rant. Sorry. There was some other information up, and I just had it, and then I accidentally dropped it, so I apologize. See if I can bring it back up here real quick. If my computer wants to cooperate with me, which apparently it doesn't, so we'll just move on and talk about it later.
Yeah. TacheT, you had some announcements.
Actually, yes. It's going to be pretty quick. For people who wanted to see the Evil Dead remake, it's going to be airing April 5th in the U.S. this Friday. Or not airing, but actually going to be in the theater. So I'm going to actually be one of the people that's going to go see it. So I know I'm really excited about it. I don't know if everybody else is. Also, Rob Zombie's new movie Lords of Salem is going to be in the theaters on the 19th of this month. So there's two really good horror movies. And also Daft Punk has a new album coming out. A lot of people have been waiting for this, Random Access to Memories. I got to listen to some of this album so far, and it really, really, really is going to be one of the best albums that they've put out. It's coming out on May 21st. So that's my news. Cool.
One quick thing on what TacheT was saying. I'm actually really not all that excited for the Evil Dead remake. I think what makes the original Evil Dead trilogy, and including the Army of Darkness, so entertaining was the campiness that was part of it. And to me, now it's just another gory horror movie, and I was really disappointed when I saw the trailer. I'm actually much more looking forward to Army of Darkness 2, which is supposedly going to happen. So, I don't know. I mean, I don't want to be a buzzkill for anybody. Please, if you want to go see it and you like gory horror movies, then please go see it and enjoy it. But just for me, I was very disappointed by it. The direction, anyway. The other thing I did want to talk about earlier that I can now bring up is they have revealed Battlefield 4 for the PS4, so that's going to be interesting. Battlefield 3 was much better than Call of Duty, no matter what all the Call of Duty knuckleheads say. But anyway, so yeah, that was my little 2 cents on Evil Dead. I don't know, Tati, what do you think about that? I
think my $10 to go and see it is going to love every bit of it, so I'll love it, you can hate it, and it's all good.
It's not that I hate it. How many gory horror movies can we have? The one thing that made the whole Evil Dead trilogy different was its campiness. So
True, but the original direction is they wanted it to be more of a horror gore movie, and this is their chance to do it. But I'm just going to say one thing: it still stays true to the story. And that makes the difference between most gore, because most gore doesn't have an actual plot.
See, but Sam Raimi also wanted to make Spider-Man 3 a serious movie, so that doesn't surprise me that he screwed up the original Evil Dead. It's just this time he screwed it up to make it better.
Well, I'm going to say this: I don't care. So personally, we hired TacheT so somebody would care about Evil Dead, the remake, and I'm just going to leave it at that.
You guys can hate all you want, but you know what?
I'm not saying I'm going to hate it. I just don't care. There's other things that I have to care about this month, okay? And it's just not that. So, couple little bit of news items here, and I will give you a couple quick reviews over 2 movies that we got to see. Actually, one of them's already out, but we'll go ahead and do the review anyway. First little bit of news item. If you haven't seen it, we did get a special exclusive trailer from Apple on the new Wolverine trailer, and then an hour later we got the YouTube trailer. So they're both up on our website, and whether it's going to be good or not, it looks very entertaining in the trailer, and that may just be the entire movie. We're going to go see it because, well, we get a free screening of it, so we might as well. And we'll see if this actually turns out to be okay.
It's Wolverine fighting ninjas. At the very worst, that should be entertaining.
Yeah, I'm not going to gear myself up to be really excited about it. I'm just saying that, hey, it looks entertaining. But it's got to be better than, the stupid prequel Wolverine, whatever.
Origins,
crap that happened. Yeah, so anyway.
Yeah, that was pretty bad.
We have it on our website, great little article interview with Scott Bakula about Enterprise. Now that's actually being released on Blu-ray. And you should definitely go check.
Something else I'll have to buy.
Oh, shucks. More Star Trek on Blu-ray.
Shit gets expensive, man. It's already on Netflix. Leave it alone.
I will give you some more free beer. Will that make it all right? See how easily he bribed
the money.
Well, it was a very interesting article anyway with Scott Bakula, so we wanted to put it on our website, and you guys can check that out. Brendan's not really going to care about this, but it is newsworthy. But although you might care, because Leonardo DiCaprio has nothing to do with this, But they are
That's
actually
good. That's a good
developing
start.
they're actually developing a Gangs of New York television series. So,
well, as long as Scorsese isn't directing it and they actually hire an Irishman in it, I might be happy about it. I might love to watch it. I might be very interested.
Well, we'll see what happens with that.
Somebody who doesn't butcher an Irish accent,
Oh, there you go. We can't have a whole clone of Liam Neeson's in the movie.
No, we can't.
Yeah.
I'll take some British and Scottish guys because nobody else in the United States can understand the difference between their brogues anyway. So.
Right. Well, and speaking of clone television shows, we do have to mention that Orphan Black, a new sci-fi series on the BBC, will be premiering on Sunday. So you'll actually get to watch that before Game of Thrones if you have all those channels. And it's basically a sci-fi series dealing with women clones. And we did an article about this a few months ago when it was first announced. So I'll definitely be checking it out, and we'll give you a quick review on it.
Sadly, I have none of those channels, so I will be downloading them illegally the next day.
No. You didn't say that.
Here's
There's nothing illegal here.
Okay, so I won't be downloading them. I'll be streaming them.
You're going to borrow them. You'll borrow them.
No, we'll just get other people to do it. So, all right. We do have to give you a couple of quick movie reviews. Even though Olympus Has Fallen came out last week, we didn't get a chance to do a review on it. And this is what I can tell you about Olympus Has Fallen, since I was the one that went to go see it. It's a very pro-America action movie. That is the basis of that movie. And it is a lot of fun. Again, the North Koreans take over the White House, so I don't know how plausible.
Giving them a bit much credit there.
Yeah. Although I do like the one fact that after this movie got released, that's when North Korea actually started their war games.
Well, my favorite thread of North Korea recently was that they put up this video showing the United States in flames. It was actually a cinematic from Call of Duty 4.
Nice.
I was like, wow, you just stole from a video game to scare an entire nation of video gamers.
Nice.
Great call, stupid. South Korea must wear a shirt that says, I'm stupid.
Well, what can I say? It was kind of funny to hear all that, about North Korea after this movie came out. But it is a good action movie. I mean, it's Die Hard in the White House. That's really what it is. And Gerard Butler does a good job. And as he said on Leno last week doing his interview about the movie, he did this movie for America. So, but instead of coming up with really cheesy lines like Arnold Schwarzenegger, he just kills everybody. And it works. And it does have, good actors in the movie. So it is worth seeing. I do give it 3.5 stars out of 5. But
that's
let's
got
not
Morgan Freeman, and you can, let's be honest, you can listen to him read the phone book.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, let's, we have to be very, very honest about what this movie is. It's just an all-American, action movie. And I can't, it's not going to win any awards, but it will entertain you. So getting to the other review and the other movie I saw the other day, G.I. Joe 2 Retaliation. And I'm sorry you guys missed it, and I am going to give one spoiler just because I'm very excited about giving this spoiler, and I don't really care if any of you people out there hate me for it. This is my show. Get your own damn show and complain. G.I. Joe 2, definitely way better than the first G.I. Joe movie. Dwayne Johnson as Roadblock definitely resurrects the G.I. Joe movies. Cobra Commander was actually Cobra Commander, which was cool. My favorite part was the fact that Channing Tatum's character, Duke, got killed early in the movie, and we didn't have to endure his ridiculousness throughout the entire thing.
And just to clarify for G.I. Joe fans out there, he's not happy Duke died. He's happy Channing Tatum is no longer associated with the series.
Yeah, I was going to say that. I just so I mean that was very, very good.
The same guy who played Magic Mike should not be the same guy that plays Duke.
No. Everybody really worked in this film. Jonathan Pryce, because he had the dual role of actually being the real president and then being the imposter, he was a lot of fun to watch. It was kind of campy in the action scenes, but Bruce Willis kind of stole the movie as General Joe Cotton. Okay, saves the day, the original G.I. Joe. It was a good all-around fun film, and this totally reminded me of why I love the cartoon. Okay, if they had only made this movie before
4 years ago, yeah, whatever.
Right,
it was.
Exactly. Oh, and the other thing too is whichever Wayans brothers was actually in the original movie, that totally sucked. He's out. We don't even know what happened to him, so that's good. But this movie
he died in that opening assault.
I don't know. I didn't even see him in the movie. I mean, the only really hokey part that I thought was RZA, the rap artist. He plays like a blind ninja master person, and while the character might work for the storyline in the movie, he does not work because he doesn't act well enough not to look like a street thug. So
well, I read a review that said his acting was so bad and his line delivery was so bad, and most of his lines are actually delivered in narration and off camera.
Yeah, that really doesn't surprise me. So hopefully we'll never have to see him in a G.I. Joe movie again. But I think this gives us the golden opportunity to bring in a lot more of the G.I. Joes. You can totally do away with Duke. You can actually introduce his cousin, which now I forget the G.I. Joe character's name, but I remember Don Johnson voiced the character in the G.I. Joe movie.
Yeah, and then there's don't forget you got to get Shipwreck in there. We got to get Shipwreck in there.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm a Navy guy. That's got to be done.
There's a lot of great G.I. Joe characters you can introduce because they're basically having to build G.I. Joe back up after all of this.
Yeah.
And so, no, definitely 4 out of 5 stars. I say, nerds, go see it. You will have a lot of fun with this movie. And keep with the formula. So, but I think the most important part, too, was Cobra Commander really was Cobra Commander. Okay, they didn't have the ridiculous blue uniforms from the cartoon series or the really kind of high pitched, raspy voice, but it actually worked because you had the Cobra Commander, helmet, and the vehicles in the movie were actually based off the toy line from Hasbro. So you really felt like you were in the G.I. Joe cartoon, just live action. And I don't care what anybody says. The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, he's cool in anything he does.
Pretty much.
So, yeah. I mean, I'm sure
ahead.
he's made some bad movies that I haven't seen because I just don't want to see. But at the same time, he worked in this one. So,
just a couple of quick hits, just because I forgot to mention them up front. It's kind of business/gaming news. Both the CEO of EA, John Riccitiello, and the CEO of Square Enix, Yoichi Wada, have both stepped down over the last week because their companies had to revise their financial forecast. They didn't come anywhere close to meeting their predictions to Wall Street. And let this be a lesson to CEOs of gaming companies. When you shove your nose into the business of the people who actually make good games and screw up the games and then they don't sell, you'll be fired. So just let the people who make good games, and you just sit there and cash a check, okay? Thanks, bye-bye.
Nice.
Because, I'm sorry, EA, I used to be a big EA supporter, but they've screwed up a lot of things. They've really screwed up one of my favorite developers in BioWare. They're so bad that they forced the two guys who founded BioWare to retire, even though EA gave them stock options and made them vice presidents at EA and all types of crazy stuff. And they were like, yeah, it's not worth a goodbye. And then Square Enix, when they took over, Squaresoft was great. They haven't made a good game since they became Square Enix. The Final Fantasy series has just been god-awful for the last, 5-6 years. So, whoever they get to replace you guys, I hope you're good leaders, and I hope that you just allow people who are talented and creative to make things that are good and creative. And that's my only plea, because we're ready to spend our money. We want you to take our money. We just want a good product in return. Thank you.
All right. So we got one more announcement. And we're going to give you fans something cool. We're actually going to cut a live commercial, so to speak, with our next announcement. So we're just going to ad-lib and be us. And, okay. The good news is I can edit this out later.
Yay.
It doesn't work. All right. So big exciting news regarding that nerd show. NCM Fathom Events is presenting the Star Trek The Next Generation Blu-ray release with episodes from Season 3, The Best of Both Worlds. Now, you Star Trek Next Generation fans out there, you know the episode I'm talking about. But like they've been doing in the past, showing episodes in the movie theater, we have another one night only, Thursday, April 25th at 7 o'clock p.m. And that nerd show fans, we are going to be there at AMC Theaters North Park to see the movie with you. We're going to be giving away prizes. We're going to be doing away trivia, and you should be there. You know why? Because resistance is futile. Isn't that right?
Yes.
I am Locutus of Borg.
Take two. No, I'm just kidding.
Take two. Be there.
No. No, but we are really excited about this Star Trek event. Now, Brendan and his wife and I actually went to the last one before TacheT was on our show, and we did have a lot of fun. And there was probably about almost 100 people in the theater for this Thursday night event of episodes that we've seen many times. The behind-the-scenes documentary was probably the best part, really, celebrating the 25th anniversary.
Well,
but like I
said, and they did the what the hell is the name of the Data episode?
The Measure of a Man, is that what it's
Measure
called?
of a Man, yeah. It was a completely recut version of A Measure of a Man, where it was the original full-length version that was recut and redone, and it had about 10 extra minutes of footage. It was really good. And then with this one, they're not just showing Best of Both Worlds 1 and 2. They've actually recut it into one full-length feature film.
Right.
So they put the two episodes together. They cut out any of the commercial breaks. They put in any excess stuff that got cut originally. So it's actually going to run about an hour and 30 minutes. It's going to be a 90-minute feature film. So I'm really looking forward to seeing it in that format.
Okay, so we just want to remind you again, Star Trek fans who listen to that nerd show, NCM Fathom Events is presenting Star Trek The Next Generation, The Best of Both Worlds, Part 1 and 2, in theaters, April 25th, Thursday night, 7 p.m. We want you to be there with us to see this at 7 o'clock, Thursday night, April 25th, just in case you didn't hear me say it the first time. Come down. We're going to be doing trivia. We're going to be giving away prizes. And we are excited about Star Trek, aren't we, guys?
Be there or be assimilated.
Because resistance is futile. Isn't that right, TacheT?
Yes.
Who's already fallen asleep. Anyway.
I was so much because I was going to say something else, and I'm just like, what? Hold on.
Well, we just wanted to tell you twice so you knew for sure, fans. But we'll be announcing and telling you more about it as we, as we get closer to the event. So. And
maybe Marcus can edit parts of those two together, and we might actually have a usable commercial.
Yes.
Well, the great thing about live air is, we could just be as ridiculous as we want, but we still give you the information, and you're going to be there because resistance is futile. Okay.
Yes.
All right, moving right along to our theme show, Game of Thrones. Winter is coming. Just in case you didn't know what it was. Okay, just to remind everybody. And that was also mainly to wake TacheT up, so.
I'm awake.
Right.
I'm here. Sorry.
Before we get into Season 3 talk, I got a bone to pick with George R.R. Martin.
Already?
I watched an interview with him the other day. And they were talking about a possible prequel series of novellas that he's been doing. And he's like, well, all that's, up in the air and it's in the future. And I mean, right now, my top priority is finishing the 3,000 pages I have left to do for the last 2 books. Really? After what, 3.5 years of no books, you're going to say that that's your top priority? What the fuck has your fat ass been doing for the last 3.5 years? Because it sure as hell ain't been writing, fat boy. You fat bearded tool.
Well, I also want to say this, too. Don't tease us with a prequel and not come out. I mean, come on. What are you, some high school girl?
So, yeah, I don't know. It just annoyed me. Oh, it's my number 1 priority. Damn, I hate to see what your number 2 priority is. You'll be dead before it happens. I mean,
you just said that there might be one, and now we want one. Because I don't know about y'all, but I actually want to see, I want to see the Mad King. I want to see when they were all younger.
Honestly, I don't think it's really going to be what everybody wants because it's set 100 years ago, the novellas, and it is based off of these 2 characters that had some stupid names like Dink and Dunk.
Oh, well, I don't want to see that prequel. I want to see the prequel from 17 years ago with the younger Ned and Robert Baratheon and, yeah.
Yeah, he's just talking about 100 years, so they weren't even thought of.
Well, screw that. Screw that.
So look, he sucks on 2 levels, okay?
Come on.
You wrote a couple of good books. You got a good TV show.
You mean like a high school girl here.
Yeah. I don't know. He's an ass.
Okay, so we mentioned it before, but I'm going to repeat this. What you should look forward to in Season 3. Now, you hardcore fans out there have already read the books. You know what's going to happen. Sort of. Actually, for those of us that read the books, we sort of know what's going to happen because they do change things here and there. Okay, I mean it's an adaptation of it, but this is the middle part of the saga. This really is like the worst of the worst, where the shit's really as if the shit hasn't already hit the fan. Let's just make it worse.
Oh yeah, the fan's getting clogged up with the shit at this point.
It's about to explode with the shit.
The fan might not even work by about episode 5.
Right. But as we left Season 2, everybody was still at war. Tyrion was no longer the hand of the king. If you hated Joffrey before, you really, really hated him, and you're just waiting for him to finally fucking be killed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's going to be fun.
Yeah. And we're not going to tell you if he's going to be killed or not. For those of you that have read the books, you already know the answer. Don't spoil it. We're not trying to spoil it for everybody. But there is other thing that I want to point out, and I was talking about with TacheT before the show on this. Some of the characters that you really love to hate, you start to see kind of turning around, and they start to become redeeming characters in the next few books. Okay? And the only spoiler that I will actually give on that is Jaime Lannister.
Yeah.
So, which for those of us that love Nikolai Coster-Waldau, we just basically gave you 2 spoilers. A, he's not dying, and B, he's going to be around for a while playing Jaime Lannister, who is actually going to be a very great character. Okay?
Yeah, he's going to be one of the more complex characters. A lot of things are going to change for the Kingslayer. And not just when we say he's redeemed, it's not just it really isn't just oh, hey, look, I'm a good guy now. It's much more complex, much more subtle, and much more drawn out than that. And you probably won't see the whole transformation in Season 3 because the 3rd book is so long, they're splitting it up into 2 seasons.
Right.
So it's going to be – it'll actually probably drag out for 3 seasons, his conversion or his transformation, because it really kind of stretches into book 4. So this kind of complex shift in his perceptions how he perceives the world and then how the world perceives him. It's going to take a while, so it's really layered, it's really complex, and it, actually makes for good storytelling as much as I want to cuss out George Martin. But, the guy wrote good books, but he's just a tool when it comes to writing anymore. But yeah, it's really good. It's not like some other episodic television shows where, somebody flips and becomes a good guy and you're like, okay, that totally didn't make any sense, Anakin Skywalker. But I had to get a dig in there, sorry.
Well,
so, yeah, that's going to be a really good thing to follow over the next few seasons.
Right, and the other thing, too, about Jaime Lannister is he's going to start missing some things, too, so, that'll be exciting. And again, the people...
With his sister? I want that to end.
Sorry, what did you say, TacheT? I didn't hear it.
The relationship with his sister.
Oh, yeah.
They need to stop it now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they're British royals. What can you say?
I'm American. I'm not used to it.
Yeah.
Well, they kind of are. Come on, look at it. What
Arkansas.
John Kerry and John Kerry and George Bush are cousins, and Barbara Bush they're related to Zachary Taylor. We have an elected aristocracy, so yeah, we just don't advertise it as much as Brits.
Hey, George Bush is also related to Franklin Pierce, so there you go.
That just burst my bubble, but okay.
Okay. So, since we've never done a show on Game of Thrones, I want to go down I want each of us to tell who our favorite character is. And I'm sure one of them is... I'll put it to you this way. Let's do this. Let's not make our favorite character so obvious. We all love Tyrion Lannister, okay? We do.
Yeah.
He really is, the greatest character around. So other than Tyrion Lannister, who is your favorite character? TacheT?
Oh, man.
Well, you're a woman. You go first.
Yeah,
you were trying to be polite.
Oh, I appreciate that. Thanks. Okay. Let's see, that's not... What, I'm trying to remember her name. She just started, she was actually in the last episode she brought in, she was the redheaded witch that gave birth to that demon.
Oh, the priestess of fire. I forget her name.
Yes.
But I know you're talking about the one working. Yeah, the one working with Stannis Baratheon.
Yes, yeah. I like her. She was just an automatic what? Okay, that's pretty cool. So, well, she gave birth to a shadow. It was not a race to do that.
Yeah,
it's random. So I like her.
Look, I just want to point out that this was kind of my reaction the first time I saw that.
Oh my holy crap!
I was thinking maybe she should see a doctor.
True. I'm curious what else she's going to give birth to in the next seasons to go.
Well, I think we've pretty much established after that episode that her vagina is the unholies of unholies.
It is. But
yeah,
I'll pick her.
It's a gate to hell.
Yes, I'll pick her. She's cool.
Brendan, other than Tyrion, who's your favorite character?
Oh, that's tough. There's a couple I like. If I had when you asked that question and then saying not Tyrion, I immediately narrowed it down to three, and it would be probably in this order, and from 3 to 1, it would be Ser Jorah Mormont, the one who's guarding Dany. Number 2 would be Littlefinger, and then number 1 would be Bronn, Tyrion's bodyguard.
Yeah, he really is. And I think there's another article on IGN, and we haven't had a chance to update our website with it yet, about the changes between the books.
I read it today. It's a very good article.
Yeah, it is. And that was one of the things they were pointing out about his character is they really added a lot more of his character in the series than they do in the books.
And Jerome Flyn's just a great actor, too, so...
Yeah, well, and part of that came with the chemistry between him and Peter Dinklage, so I could definitely see that. I'm like you. I mean, I've got multiple, favorite characters and everything. Littlefinger's definitely on my list, and because the thing about Littlefinger is he really is like the old Godfather, pulling the strings everywhere. Okay, and there will be a very, very big spoiler at the end of this series about how all this started, and all I'm going to say is you're going to either really love Littlefinger or really hate him.
The thing about Littlefinger is he's the type of guy that you don't want to be on the opposite side of politically, but at the same time, as much as you loathe him for his lack of principles, he's still the guy you want to have a pint with at the bar.
That's true. I'm going to say this, too. If he were in American politics, he'd probably be Speaker of the House. Just a little less crying.
There's so many good characters, though. I mean, I love Tywin Lannister, too. The actor they have for him, Charles Dance, is fantastic.
Oh, yeah. Well, here's your first fun fact of Game of Thrones. The scene in the first season wherein he's in his tent, actually when we first get kind of introduced to him, and he's like skinning a stag, taking care of it, he was actually doing that. That's not a movie prop. That's a real stag.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Don't tell Peter, though.
Yeah.
Peter will come running in saying, how dare you skin an animal? And like, wait, you just euthanized 14,000 dogs.
I think the guts might have been props, but at the same time, it was a real stag that he was skinning. And the reason it came about is I was reading this, that he actually is a hunter and knows how to do this. So they were like, well, we're going to get you something real, and you know better than we do about how to properly do this, so you just do this and do all your lines.
That's smart direction right there.
Yeah. So, my favorite character, without a doubt, is Arya. Only because I know where her character is going, because she is doing step by step, getting away from being a Stark. I loved the entire first season of her training with a sword and her sword master. And what do we say to death? Not today.
Not today. Yeah, he was a great character. It's a shame he died. Another one of those ones you just don't fall in love with because they're gone in 30 seconds.
No, but I like how he killed, 5 guys with a wooden sword before they finally got him, too.
Yeah.
But no, again, she knows she's royalty, okay? She knows that they'll have to, in the back of her mind, even as young as she is, that she could be, married off and stuff like that. But she is doing so much to stay away from that, and she's better at things than her brothers, okay? So her journey throughout the entire Game of Thrones is literally going off into the world to become a warrior / assassin, and yeah, that's a little bit of a spoiler, and becoming this great character that is unlike what we see of her. So her, growing up, she's not growing up in royalty or anything. She's growing up into be a very deadly warrior, okay, who will basically kick everybody's butt by the time you get to the 5th book. So, and I think her, I think calling her sword Needle is pretty cool too. So, go ahead.
What do you guys say? Oh, I was going to say, what do you guys think about Shay, the whore?
Yeah.
First of all, I love that actress. Very, very hot. Yeah. And that's the typical guy in me talking right now. But I'm also not getting attached because I know I know the story behind Shay, so it's like...
Well, that tells me already.
Well,
fine.
I am very looking forward to that
attached,
scene for another reason, though.
And what's your reason?
Oh, not for Shay, but for the other person in the room at the time. I don't want to give too much away of that, so we're just going to leave it at that.
Well, that's too much information already. I mean...
Well, she'll have a great storyline, but like everybody else, I mean, it's, most people's storylines are tragedy.
You could put it this way: all you have to do is look up who the POV characters are in the book, because in the books, every chapter is told from the point of view of a certain character.
Yeah.
If the character is a POV character, chances are they're safe. If they're not a POV character, might as well put their head between their legs and kiss their ass goodbye.
Yeah, but that's not
entirely
true. There's a
not entirely, but
yeah,
but
there's a couple of characters that here in this next series that are POV characters that are going by the wayside. So one of them will be back.
TV versus book, it's going to be different.
Well,
yeah.
I mean,
I would assume.
but some of the spoilers that we talked about are based on the books, and they've been very, very faithful to everything. It's just, like I said, it's hard to. I don't think you can take that strictly as a rule in Game of Thrones. I just think that.
Well, it's a good guideline, though.
True, but I think that the more heroic that you seem to be, the harder you're going to fall in the end. Okay, I mean we've seen that. Well, Robb Stark is a good example. Yeah, he is winning. He is proving everybody wrong. Turning out to be a great leader like his father. That's not going to last. And again, don't get attached. So there is a question I want to ask, since we've seen the trailers and stuff like that. Syrian Hines, who got cast as Mance Rayder.
Great casting as Mance Rayder. Great casting.
That was. Well, I didn't even have to ask the question to get my answer.
The only guy I think that might have been as good or better,
Liam Neeson.
No, he's a Scottish guy.
You talking about the guy that played Robert the Bruce?
No, stop guessing. You're probably going to get it wrong. I'm trying to figure. There it is, 2009. Ian McShane.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Ian McShane would have been a great Mance Rayder, but I don't know what he's up to at the moment. Apparently he's going to be in Hercules with The Rock. So.
Right.
But
yeah.
So he'd be awesome.
See, and that's a whole other thing about looking forward to is we really do get to see behind the wall, and we get to see the whole legend between the White Walkers and what's going to happen with the wall and stuff like that. And Jon Snow is one of my favorite characters too, because he doesn't really want to accept the fact. I guess he doesn't want to accept what everybody else thinks of him as being the bastard son. That he can't. And he knows he can rise above that and be the hero. And like they said in the first season, he was being groomed to be the leader of the Night Watch. Okay. But
and now I think he's being groomed to be a heck of a lot more, because I don't think he is. Now this is just theory. There's a lot of people that agree with me, but it's not a spoiler. Nothing's been said. But I don't think he is Eddard Stark's bastard. I think he's Eddard Stark's nephew, and I think that when Targaryen, the Targaryen prince there that Robert Baratheon killed. I forget his name now, but the Targaryen prince kidnapped Eddard Stark's sister, who was supposed to be Robert Baratheon's betrothed, and I'm pretty sure that Jon Snow is the bastard child of Eddard Stark's sister, and Rhaegar Targaryen was his name, Rhaegar Targaryen. So technically Jon Snow is the rightful heir to the throne. If Dany comes back, she's not the rightful heir. If she succeeds in putting the Targaryens back in power, it would
I'm not
going to
say anything. I'm just going to leave it at that and let you put that theory in everybody's head. That's all I'm going to say. But his storyline around the White Wall and being behind it and all that is, like I said, it's a very unique and interesting story. And he's not dying. He's going to be around for a while, okay? But at the same time, he's going to have to kind of go through this transformation of being a leader, being accused of mutiny, and deciding, really what happens. Because, the whole North is basically, it's like, Savannah in the Civil War. It's all going up in flames and stuff like that. Speaking of Greyjoys, here's something I wanted to bring up. There was a really great scene in the second season. Aeron Greyjoy, trying to decide whether he should, basically go against the Starks and all that, and then, fight with his own family and everything. I liked the scene where he actually was writing the letter to warn Robb Stark of what was happening, and then, burns it afterwards. So he's still torn about what he has to do. And he's a little snot. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying he's not. And, I too would have walked up behind him and hit him on the head for his stupid little speech.
It was a good speech, though.
Yeah. It was. But at the same time, I think there's a little bit of honor in there, a little bit more honor that he gained from being with the Starks than he would have with his own family, where he does question everything he does. And the only reason he is deciding to go with his own family is more or less to impress his father, and basically to be looked at as the rightful heir compared to his sister. So, his storyline is another very interesting storyline that takes place, and he's a character that you love to hate, but at the same time has some redeeming qualities, and that you also feel sorry for. Because fathers and sons. That's a great story that we've seen in many different types of stories where, you do the things you do to impress your father, to make them love you. Okay, even the bad things. Where really, to be honorable, you should think for yourself, even if it means standing up to your own father. And I always come back to a novel that I read in high school, a classic novel, Fathers and Sons by Ivan Chernovich. Is a great allegorical type of story for that. Two different generations, two different ideas, and, the son having to learn to, come onto his own and that kind of thing. And that's basically what he's going through. But he is a little shit, too, so.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's all well and good for you. I don't have any sympathy for him.
I'm a storyteller. I try to find some of those redeeming qualities, but and I like his story. I do. But again, he is a little shit. No denying that. Question for the both of you. Catelyn Stark. She was very, very Lady Macbeth in season 2. Do you guys like her? Start with you, TacheT.
I do like her, but I also don't like some of what she did, going back and trying to make the right decision. In some of her choices, I think it was really kind of belittling her son at the point, but I do like her as a character. I'm curious to see what happens. Again, I haven't read the book, so I don't know if I should be attached or not. So I'm kind of keeping that separate.
She has a very fantastic storyline. That's all I'm going to say. Both of her lives.
I like the actress that plays her. I think she does a very good job. I don't like the character Catelyn Stark. I think she makes dumbass decisions because she sits there and my son's the king of the North, but then I'm going to turn around and make a whole bunch of decisions behind his back to undermine his authority.
Right.
I agree.
What? Really? Yeah. Are you that friggin' stupid? I'm like,
yeah, but that's
you would never undermine your husband, but your son. Oh, okay, well that's fine. Your husband's dead. I'll undermine my kids, and this is going to put me in a precarious position that might even get me killed. But it's okay. My son's winning battle after battle, but he doesn't know what he's doing, so I'm going to undermine him. I'm going to completely go against his wishes and fuck everything up.
Well, it's like, God, I just forgot her name. Lena Headey's character, the sister. It's like she said, when you play the Game of Thrones, you play to win.
Well, she's playing to lose, though. She's making every dumb decision possible.
Well, that's what I'm saying. She's very Lady Macbeth. Lady Macbeth is that character that you love to hate. But, That's where most people are like, woman, I want to knock your teeth out. Not that I would ever do that. I'm just saying that's like, But
yeah, I don't know. She's a horrible character. She meddles and.
No,
I'm sorry. If your husband was still alive, if your husband was still alive, you'd be lucky to have your head.
Yeah, but here's something that needs to be pointed out. She's a mother who's pretty much lost her family, and this is why, parents who have their kids kidnapped don't get to do the negotiation, okay? Because you don't think straight, and you do things from an emotional standpoint that you cannot do. And you're right. She undermines her son, and she should be slapped, and she should be arrested or beheaded, and yeah. But at the same time, she's a mother who's lost her kids. And I think that's allowed in that situation, especially when her oldest daughter, who is supposed to marry Joffrey, okay, can't seem to escape the castle and is basically being tortured by the king.
She is in a bad spot.
Yeah, I mean,
she's so screwed.
Let me tell you, there's a lot of if she was living in the modern world, she'd need a lot of Xanax or Prozac to get through the day.
Oh yeah, a little bit, probably stronger than that. With him, it's true. That man, he's a.
Okay,
I hate him the most out of everybody.
Yeah. Okay, so we do have to talk about dragons.
Yes.
Daenerys, wow. I really do like her as a character. I mean, my favorite scene is when they kill her brother and give him the, hat of gold. And, Drago just looks at his wife and she just kind of nods yes, and they kill the brother. And I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, it was a great scene.
You are no dragon. But what do you think that excuse me, I'm like belching all this beer I'm drinking on the air, and I apologize for that, fans. But
Cheers, beer.
Yeah, but I do like my beer, so leave me alone. What are you guys most looking forward to with her and her dragons?
I'm looking forward to the next dumbass that tries to steal one. Because it's going to happen. There's only 3 dragons in the world, so somebody's going to try and make a play for at least one of them, and they're going to be damn fool thinking, they were born out of magic with this woman who survived fire, but I can steal one and command the dragon better than she can. Yeah, good luck with that, sport. Let me know how that works out for you if you don't turn into the Colonel's original recipe or extra tasty crispy.
How about you, Tim?
The dragons, I'm looking forward to seeing what happens and how she's going to integrate into her coming back and trying to take the throne. I'm also really more interested in seeing how she kind of plays out with having that much power, when she's starting to gain more power, and if she's going to change who she is, because she did grow into someone really strong, because her brother was an asshole. And I'm glad he died.
Yeah, he deserved to die. I'm sorry.
He was just sick. Yeah, he was just completely sick. And with that, her being as strong as she did, she was what?
Basically, her brother was the result of the standard inbreeding of the Targaryen family, and she was the one that had the good genes that skipped 5 generations and landed on her.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
The thing is, though, with her, I hope she doesn't get too power hungry and changes. That's one thing I'm wondering if that's going to end up happening.
There already have been subtle changes, though, since she became the Khaleesi and since she became, the head of the Dothraki.
Well, she had to.
I mean, look what she did. Look what she did at the end of season 2 when she locked the dude and her handmaiden in his impregnable vault.
Well, they screwed her over.
True, but the girl that started out in season 1 would have never done something that cruel.
True.
I mean, you could have just killed her. They're going to die of starvation in an impregnable vault. That's a hard way to go.
Well, I would have
Yes.
done the same thing, considering. I mean, she is changing, which is good. She has to be strong if she's going to take a leadership role. And her doing something like that.
Again, she's the mother of three dragons who breathe fire. And when your children are harmed, you do crazy things.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
dragon.
I understand that, but she could have just killed them outright, and she didn't.
No way.
She was cold and calculating, and I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying that it's a bigger change than you're giving it credit for. It's not just. Look. Here's my point. If it was just you hurt my babies, I'm going to kill you, it would have been just that. I'm going to kill you. She would have had the babies nuke them. This was cold. This was calculating. It was rational. And that is much more dangerous and much bigger of a change than just pure revenge.
But don't you have to sort of have that if you are going to be the leader and not be taken over or seem weak-willed, like
That's
Joffrey?
My point.
Not necessarily, because there are other ways you can do it. Because you look at Ned Stark. Ned Stark ruled the North, and how did he do everything? He was tough but fair, and he chopped people's heads off clean, quick, and be done with it.
Yeah, but let's
He's
take
dead.
the North that nobody wants to go to, where it's peace by weather that nobody wants to deal with, compared
in a land
to
that nobody wants to deal with.
Yeah, but no, again, but dealing with the entire realm of world that's not a civilized society. Okay,
all I'm
I
saying
like
is
Ned
a
Stark.
bigger cycle.
No, hold on. I like Ned Stark. Okay, and ruling the North in one little part of the world is fine. Okay, but when you're king of 7 kingdoms and different people plotting and scheming to get rid of you, I think you do have to be cold and calculated, like she is. I think that's part of being a leader. It's the dark side, but you kind of have to have it.
I'm just saying it's a bigger change than TacheT was giving her credit for.
Well,
it's
here's
a bigger
one thing.
psychological change.
But the thing is, it's an expected change. I mean, I understand that it's a big change. I'm curious in this next season how much more of a change she's going to do. Is she going to go full blown into what she's starting to become, or is it going to be gradual? That's my point. That's what I'm wondering and curious about.
All I'm going to say is I'm going to give one little spoiler. That in this, she single-handedly ends slavery somewhere more than Abraham Lincoln could have done with the 13th Amendment, because she's got dragons. And if you think she was cold and calculating in season 2, wow, she's just a bitch with fire, and I kind of like that.
I think I'm going to like her more then.
Well,
yeah.
Let's be honest, though. She ends slavery and then conscripts them all into her army.
Cold and calculating.
That's not really ending slavery.
Well, if they're willing, going for the winning team, I don't see anything wrong with that.
Hey, it's slavery without having to pick the cotton and do fishing. It's slavery fighting for a purpose. And I just said that.
Yeah, well, she has 3 dragons. I'd go on her side, too. I mean, she has 3 dragons.
Right. That's so much of a choice. It's like I can fight for the dragons or Colonel's Extra Tasty Crispy.
No, my choice is, wait a minute, I'm going to be conscripted, so I can still get fed. I don't have to pick cotton, do fishing, do menial work, and you're going to give me a spear and a sword and I can go kill other people? Oh, and if I don't do this, there's dragons that are going to light my butt on fire, literally? Yeah, I'm going with the spear and sword. It's not much of a choice, but it's still a choice.
A little bit of a raise.
We're winding down this show, and oh my gosh, I just completely lost my train of thought. There's so much more that we can talk about in this, but I think the most important thing is Game of Thrones is back, and it's going to be exciting, and it's going to be probably a lot darker than what we've seen up to this point. So, are you guys ready? I'm ready.
I'm very ready.
Don't post anything on my Facebook wall because I'm not going to be able to see it until Monday, you idiots.
I'm not saying anything. I have to
wait for it to get online. HBO, Time Warner Cable. Anyway.
It happens. All right, we got to wrap this show up. Do want a couple of quick things. We won't be doing a show next Wednesday, but we will be back next Thursday doing our All-American Action Movie theme show. What is the most pro-America action movie ever made?
America.
Fuck yeah. Anyway.
I think we just answered the question. Well, there goes next week's show.
Exactly. But anyway, we're not going to do what you should be watching on Netflix because you should be watching Game of Thrones anyway, and unfortunately it's not on Netflix. But other than that, that's our show for the evening. We'll be back next week, and we'll want to hear what everybody thought of the first episode and with next Thursday. So, all right, we are out of here. Everybody say goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.